Hi everybody. Just let everybody know it's live streaming now on my end.
Hi, Jen. Hey, Jen. How you doing? Hey, Jen. Can you guys see me? Unfortunately. Danny, can you see me? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there it goes. It's working out, right? Yep. All right. I had to get out of here, and I couldn't get my camera to work. Kicking me out. Oh, no way. It shows two boxes for you, one that's on and one that's off. Really? Oh, you're right. You left the meeting. I did leave it. I left. It rejoined, so I don't know. Listen, as long as we're here, I guess that's all that matters. Yep. I only see the one, so you should be all right. Yeah, the other one disappeared. All right, good. All right, I got 7:01. We'll give it a couple minutes. Just occurred to me the next time we do this, we probably should have like the Brady Bunch theme song in the background. That's what it looks like. So, I think that every single time I look at it. Oh, boy. From mine, Kelly's box is like 3 times as big as anybody else's right now. Really? Yeah, it should be. Really? It's taking like a third of my screen right now. Yeah, I see everybody's the same. Yeah, well, I have mine on grid view. I downloaded an extension so I can see grid, so I can see all the boxes on the same screen. Okay. I need that. It's not hard. You can just download it through. It's an extension through Google Chrome, so it's really easy. Yeah, I'll show you. Okay, cool. One of my students taught me. Oh, yeah. Probably could have figured it out. I could have my daughters do it, but they're not interested. So. I see Brian Salvo got to change the scenery over there, huh? You can still do it. I'm actually in the office. Yeah. Yeah. is 7:05 on May 11th. Tammy, you can take roll, please.
Mr. Calhoun.
Here.
Mr. Kosas.
Here.
Ms. Pappas. Here. Ms. Renee. Here. Mr. Sullivan.
Here.
Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Mayor Wardell.
Here. Thank you. The notice requirements of Chapter Public Law 231, 1975 have been satisfied by the publication of said notice in the Asbury Press and the Coaster, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. If you please join me in a flag salute, and if you could please remain standing for a brief moment of silence for all the victims of COVID-19. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and for all. Thank you. First order of business is approval of minutes, the April 27th and May 4th of 2020 minutes. If I have a motion to approve. Motion to approve. Offered by Mr. Calhoun. Second. Second by Mr. Thomas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none. We have no communications or presentations today on the agenda, so we're going to move along to our Board of Education report. I saw Board President Mr. Cicino is in the audience. If you would like to share something with us, Mr. Cicino.
Sure. I first want to put on public record what an excellent job our teachers of Wilson School are doing. I really appreciate everything that they're doing for the children and how they're persevering along with all the other teachers in this state. But the ones in our school are closest to my heart, so I'm reaching out for them. They have feeding our community. That they're going to have on the 13th and the 14th, where parking lot 203 during the format.
Okay, thank you. And I concur that we have some teachers, Wilson and my son is a Woodrow. These teachers, these kids not only being educated but also meeting some of their psychological needs. I've had my son read us many different hours of the day, and they almost are always on the type of fall. We'll move along to course. The force reports before we get started. So first, what we're gonna touch on the next point, I was asked by the legislative team here in District as a member of the committee for the coronavirus economic committee for District 11 here. And one of the things that we're looking at is to they've asked people from all different point person for their local budget, so they have somebody to voice any problems or to concern to our and the turner's office. So basically, it's going to be just part of the group. You have business owners that are part of this group. Organization. I was honored to be asked to serve forward a particular district in business more protecting city. I think this is fantastic. They really has no giving those in need. And, an emergency meeting last Monday to increase our property tax and make any kind of penalties or fees. And given a one-month extension on it.
Sorry, everybody. I'm having technical difficulties.
Patterns and colors to the paper that are going to go in there. I do know that a couple of residents voiced their concerns over the trees that were taken down at the park over there. Let me just rest assured, those trees that were taken down for really two reasons. Most importantly, those trees were pretty rotten. They were probably on the verge of falling at some point. If you actually go by there, you can go look at the stumps, and the stumps were all pretty much hollowed out from where they were rotted out. And you can see all the stumps were basically leaning pretty heavily. So I meant, solid rain with some solid wind probably would have brought those trees down at some point anyway. Also, there is reason to do that for the monuments that are going in as well, but we are going to replace all those trees with new trees will be planted. So I don't want anybody thinking we just remove trees just to remove trees.
Enter the meeting
It was
pin
done
followed by the pound key.
a purpose. So they will be replanted. Also, we're moving along nicely here with our improvements to Memorial Park. For those who don't know, we are putting in new
Thank you.
playground
You are
equipment
muted because
at
a lot of
Memorial
people
Park.
are on this call.
It'll be
Press
much
star
safer for the
6
kids
to
to use.
unmute. The call is being
rubber
recorded.
flooring as opposed to the wood chips
the tire
like the
sunset, we
tire
might see some of the other
sunset, we might
places
see some of the other
will be
places will be a
rubber
solid
mat all the way
rubber mat all the way across.
It'll be ADA compliant as well, so it'll be everybody to use. And
it's just going to actually be a
park.
park.
There's a lot of
space in the park that
really is
really is
underutilized.
underutilized. That we figured would be a good spot to put that.
Also, Memorial Park, the plans for construction of our new gazebo, which is going to be in the east corner of the park, kind of closer to the boardwalk, and kind of put on an angle facing out there. So it's going to be a really nice gazebo, 40 feet by 40 feet in diameter, so a nice size gazebo placed on platforms so it can be somewhere where, shows can be held or concerts in the park as well. So this is something I'm really excited about moving forward. And also, we have our kayak racks are going to be coming, I'm hoping, by the end of this month. They should be up there. That's the hope for now. I don't know the exact number. Chris, what was the number we discussed? How many?
We were able to work out with Garrett at this point. We're going to 27 for 27 kayak racks, and actually construction on them actually starts tomorrow. So they're going to start building sections tomorrow. They have all the materials, and we're going to get them pretty quick. So we're moving along on that project pretty quick, and we're finishing up rental forms and stuff like that. So we're going to be ready to go hopefully very soon.
Good. And hopefully, if in the future, if this works out well and we have the space too, we can increase the number of spaces or kayak racks that we have there if it's, if there's a demand for it. So I'm excited about that as well. I don't own a kayak yet, but I think this is pushing me to buy a kayak. I've wanted to. This might be a tipping point, right? To have a rack to build in town. Moving along, guys, just one thing, just to kind of piggyback off of what Mr. Cicino had talked about, the food drive that's going to be tomorrow and Wednesday, was solely put together by the Neptune City Education Association. So again, our teachers are not just teachers in a school. The teachers, they're part of our community as well. Many of these people who are involved and are not residents of Neptune City. Actually, the majority of them are not residents of Neptune City, but they've adopted Neptune City as their second home. I wanted to thank them as well. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't thank again all of our essential workers, our first responders, for the work that they're doing, the bravery that they've shown here, in this time that's been very turbulent and scary for many. The constant of those that take care of us have been doing such a tremendous job. And, the word hero gets thrown around a lot, but there are some people who really have gone on and done some heroic things without any kind of, acknowledgement or accolade. And they just do it because it's the right thing to do. And I wanted to thank them, and especially our first responders here in Neptune City and all that they do. So we'll move along, guys, then to our council reports, and we'll move along to our administration and finance with Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment real quick. We met last week, the Administrative Finance Committee, to go over the budget one last time before introducing it tonight, and we just finished up a little over an hour ago our budget workshop meeting. I'm happy that tonight we're going to be able to offer for introduction to the council for consideration a budget with a 4.7% reduction. I just want to thank you to my fellow committee member, Councilwoman Pappas, you, Mayor, Mr. Beatty, Mr. Antonides, Mr. Gardini, as well as our department heads and department figure for being able to get such a sound budget. It's not easy to get a budget together to begin with, let alone during a normal period, I should say. But especially with everything going on with COVID-19 pandemic, it really shows that we're able to get everything in a good place with the reduction and even with the plan for expanding services and programs, including the website, which we're hoping to go live this Friday. So a couple other things like that. And that's pretty much it for the committee. So I just wanted to offer that up and look forward to seeing how everything goes later.
Okay, sorry about that. I was having a hard time unmute myself. For some reason, when we have a lot of people on, it works a little bit slower. We'll move on next to Public Works and Mr. Sullivan.
Pardon me, Mayor. I just wanted to bring up. I think didn't we jump off of public participation?
Yeah, we'll get to public participation after council reports.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got a couple things. The road sweep. They're going to be sweeping the roads this week. As Mr. Speedy mentioned, the Public Works will begin building the kayaks tomorrow, the kayak racks tomorrow. Just a reminder to everybody, as far as construction debris, brush, and large metal devices, can we just like to make sure people remember, move it out 12 inches from the curb, obviously for two reasons. Number one, for water flow. Obviously, the second reason is to allow the Public Works not having to handle any type of material. Last thing, just like to thank the Public Works
focus of the meeting was to take back the ordinance setting fees for the borough. We needed to add a couple of things, not the least of which was the new kayak racks that are being built in Memorial Park, and establish some fees for that. And Councilwoman Pappas, along with some other members of council, had some concerns that we needed to revisit some fees that may have been outdated or not in step with what we want to accomplish here in the borough as far as making the community center a little bit more user-friendly and more accessible for kids moving forward. So what we did was, in a nutshell, we reviewed all the fees. We're now going to not charge kids up to 18 years old for use of the community center. So, and then in addition to that, we're also not going to charge seniors over 60 for that access as well. And I issued my report, which everyone got a chance hopefully to read, but suffice that, we'll answer any questions you've got, but suffice to say that we reviewed all of the fees, updated them per all the suggestions that we had gotten, not only from Councilwoman Pappas, but from the mayor and from Councilman Kosis, and I think we arrived at a resolution, an ordinance that everybody can support at this point. That's it for council report. The only thing I wanted to mention while I had the floor was that came to my attention today that something near and dear to my heart, Bradley Beach Food Pantry, has to buy eggs in bulk. They can't get them anymore, at least not in the short term, in 12-pack containers. So if anybody's got empty egg containers that they can spare, they can be dropped off over at their facility on 4th Avenue in Bradley Beach. And if they can't get them there, just get me a message and I'll pick them up and get them there. That's it.
Hey, is it just the dozen containers they're looking for?
They'll take the 18s. Okay, for the 12s, but they'll take the 18s.
Okay, all right. And it doesn't matter styrofoam or plastic or cardboard? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, moving along here, administration and justice.
Pretty much the same as last time. Our police department continues to serve our community and answer calls as normal. They're still continuing with their regular education, so there's nothing really new. Again, echoing what you said is I can't thank the EMS, fire, or police for all their hard work and selfless acts. You know, they're facing it head on the COVID and doing a job. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Nevin. All right, move along here, special services, Ms. Renee.
Just reminding everybody that if you have a dog and you haven't sent in your dog license renewal, that you can contact Borough Hall. You ask for Chris, and he'll mail you out a form. You can send that back in, and he'll mail you out your dog license. And so please go ahead and do so. That's it.
Thank you very much. The Human Services, Mr. Kosis.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a committee meeting last week. We discussed ways to assist our first aid squad, and a couple of options were to have Asbury Park cover us with 24-hour backup, maybe a partnership with Bradley Beach and Avon for a partial paid service, and expanding Neptune Township, their current service, expanding their hours to cover, or switch the hours to cover the less availability for our town. It was a preliminary discussion. Nothing was decided on, and we'll continue to look into things. And I do like to thank the EMS members for all their hard work that they're doing, and the rest of the first responders in our town.
I agree. Thank you very much. All right, before we move on to unfinished and new business, I'm going to open it up to the public who wish to make any comments on agenda items. If there's anybody from the public who wishes to be heard on agenda items only, this would be your time. Okay. Hearing none. So first we're going to move to unfinished business, and Mr. Cena, jump in if I make any mistakes here. I believe we need to have a motion to withdraw ordinance 20-04, the original ordinance that was put there setting the fees, because we've made some significant changes, so it has to be reintroduced.
By way of background, last meeting you introduced 20-04 regarding fees, and as Councilman Calhoun mentioned, there have been substantive amendments to that resolution. So when you have amendments to a resolution you've already introduced, it gets tricky. Yeah, they're so substantive that I feel it's probably better just to introduce a new ordinance. So what we do is
withdrawal for the 2004. Do I have a motion to withdraw for that?
Offered by Mr.
Offered by Mr. Calhoun. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by
Second
Mr.
by Mr.
Renee.
Renee. Do we need to roll call this?
Yeah, you can roll call. Roll call, okay. Ms. Brown, roll call?
Mr. Calhoun,
Yes.
Mr. Kosis,
Yes.
Ms. Pappas,
Yes.
Ms. Renee,
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The news. All right, so move along to new business, and we'll begin with Resolution 20-84.
Resolution 20-84 authorizing payment of bills in the amount of $134,572.69.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan.
Second.
Second by Ms. Pappas. Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Calhoun,
Yes.
Mr. Kosis,
Yes.
Ms. Pappas,
Yes.
Ms. Renee,
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Thank you. Moving along, Resolution 2020-85.
Resolution authorizing payment number 3, which is the final payment to the contractor for Steiner Avenue pedestrian and ADA improvements.
So, it seems like this is on our agenda almost every week. This project here on Steiner Avenue. Thomas? Second by Mr. Kosis. Any questions?
Mr.
Yeah.
Kosis,
Yeah.
Ms. Pappas, Mr. Sullivan.
Yes. Thank you.
86, the volunteer later application for all.
I'd like to offer that there. Offer by Kosis. Volunteer in today's society. It's greatly appreciated. Roll call, please.
He's one of our members too, so it'll be great. Asset.
Oh, even better. Well, thank you. Awesome.
Okay. Mr. Calhoun,
Yes.
Mr. Kosis,
Yes.
Ms. Pappas, Mr. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Offered by Mr. Kosis.
Second.
Second by Ms. Pappas. And again, always love to see volunteers in town. So young volunteers is good. We can hold on to it for a while. Any questions, guys?
Again, just thank you. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to thank both of them.
Thank you. All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Calhoun,
Yes.
Mr. Kosis,
Yes.
Ms. Pappas,
Yes.
Ms. Renee,
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Was adopted, and again, thank you for your volunteerism. All right, Resolution 2020-88.
Governing body certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction records in employment decisions under this title of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This, I believe, pertains with our budget.
So do I have a motion?
So offered.
by Ms. Renee.
Second.
Second by Mr. Thomas. Yes?
Yeah, I think we went on the same time.
Okay. Any questions?
I'll ask Mr. Trevini with regard to, does it have something to do with the buzzer, or does it simply simply for us to comply with the EEOC?
We're required to comply with it, and for us to pass the budget, and from, collecting tax money to pass our budget, we need to have that stating that we do comply with it, and we do comply with it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Move along here. We are now moving on to Resolution 20-89.
We need to do roll call first.
Okay, oh, I apologize. I'm so sorry. You're absolutely right.
No, you're fine. It's not on the bottom there. That's why I confused you.
You know what? You're right. It was on the bottom. It threw me out. Look at me. I can't deviate here, Tammy. I can't deviate.
I know.
Roll call, please. I apologize.
Mr. Calhoun.
Yes.
Mr. Kosis.
Yes.
Ms. Pappas.
Yes.
Ms. Renee.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Okay, now we can move on to Resolution 20-88.
Ordinance amending.
Or 89, excuse me.
An ordinance amending Chapter 62 entitled Fees of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of Neptune City, New Jersey, adding new sections establishing certain recreation fees.
I'd like to offer that.
Offered by Mr. Calhoun.
Second.
Second by Ms. Renee. Do I have any questions?
I'd just like to say that I'm really glad that we did remove the first one. I think hopefully if everybody agrees to this one, I'm really happy about the changes. It was a good committee meeting, like Councilman Calhoun said, and hopefully everybody is in agreement with it.
Right. And again, I have to thank Councilwoman Pappas. She's the one who actually caught this before we voted on it last time. She said, well, didn't we talk about removing the fees for kids? And we most certainly did, and we almost let that go by. And we would have probably another year to fix that. So I also want to thank Ms. Pappas for catching that. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Calhoun.
Yes.
Mr. Kosis.
Yes.
Ms. Pappas.
Yes.
Ms. Renee.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Thank you. Moving along, resolution.
The public hearing will be on May 26th. Okay.
Okay, sorry, Tim. So, Resolution 20-90.
Borough of Neptune City ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limit to establish a cap bank.
Right. I need a motion, please.
So offered.
Who's that? Miss? I didn't who?
Thomas.
Thomas.
Mr. Thomas. Okay.
Second.
Second by Ms. Pappas. Okay. Any questions? All right. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Calhoun.
Yes.
Mr. Kosis.
Yes.
Ms. Pappas.
Yes.
Ms. Renee.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
Once again, there will be a second reading on May 26th as well.
Thank you. Our final resolution on the agenda is Resolution 20-91.
Borough of Neptune City, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, approving the introduction of the municipal budget for the year 2020.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So offered.
Offered by Mr. Thomas.
Second.
Second by Ms. Pappas. Any questions?
I think mine were all answered in the workshop.
Okay. Again, I want to thank the hard work of the members of the governing body. I want to thank the hard work of our Chief Financial Officer, our Administrator, Ms. Trevini, and all those that help work on this. This is a really, really sound budget moving forward. We are in a really good fiscal place here. Again, I want to thank all of our predecessors as well for the good work they've done for years and years here in Neptune City to put us in this position here. There are many towns who would be quite envious to be in the financial situation that we are in. And so that's a testament to very not living above your means here. So I'm very excited that we're going to be pushing forward this budget where we actually see a decrease in some people's, well, I was a decrease in the in cents. So a lot of this has to do with also with our the additions of revenues with the assessment of properties going up as well here, because Neptune City, as you may all have noticed, has become a very desirable place to live recently, and therefore property values have increased here, and that's also going to be an increase into our budget as well. Roll call, please.
Mr. Calhoun.
Yes.
Mr. Kosas.
Yes.
Ms. Talbot.
Yes.
Ms. Renee.
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. And I would just like to remind everybody that the public hearing and possible adoption will be held on June 22nd.
Thank you very much. Oh, okay, guys, that concludes our resolutions on the agenda today, so we can move along now to public participation on agenda items. I ask that you please just state your name for the record, so we can take accurate notes and minutes, and you can direct your questions to the mayor.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is Jen Coombs. I have a question.
Crystal from Jersey Watcher YouTube channel. Am I recognized?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to say that I want to ask Neptune City to recognize the Greek-Armenian genocide. Would you acknowledge this?
I don't really think it's a place for a municipal government to acknowledge historical events that happened in Europe.
Your song speaks volumes, sir. If I would like Neptune City to acknowledge the Greek-Armenian genocide, I would like them to say that Turkey is mass murderers. I would like them to acknowledge the Holocaust. Ask New Jersey Media is Jen Coombs. She's a communist.
I acknowledge that.
Do you know that she has been locked up, sir?
Yeah, sir, I'll just stop you. You can direct your comments and public comments to the mayor, but it's really not a place to ask the mayor questions.
Sir, this is public comments. Robert's Rules of Order says I have the floor and you're not allowed to interrupt me as I'm speaking.
You can ask me questions. I'm not going to answer your question, but you can ask it.
I understand. Why is he trying to violate? Is Jason the lawyer? Why is he trying to violate my civil rights?
He's our attorney. He's not violating. He's just merely giving you a suggestion for decorum.
I suggest Neptune City hires a new attorney because he's horrible at his job. So again, I want to ask you, will Neptune City recognize the Greek-Armenian genocide?
I'm not going to speak on behalf of all of Neptune City for the
It's over 100 years, Mayor. It's over 100 years. People died. People lost their lives.
Listen, as an educator, I know about the Armenian genocide, but I'm not going to speak on behalf of all Neptune City on the Armenian genocide.
Greek, Armenian, and Assyrian. All three. We're going to recognize all three. Would you like to recognize them, sir?
I am a historian. I know what happened, but no, I do not.
Do you refuse to acknowledge the Holocaust?
No, I'm not. I'm just not answering your question, sir. It's not a refusal.
Your silence speaks volumes, and it shows that Neptune City refuses to acknowledge historical events.
I acknowledge they happened, but I'm not going to do it in the fashion that you want me to. So that's the only difference here.
What do you mean? There are many radical countries that say the Greek-Armenian genocide never happened.
And again, I don't, and sir, I don't see
Please don't interrupt me. There's many countries that say the Holocaust never happened, and I want Neptune City to be progressive in the sense, come out in the forefront and say, look, these are historical events. These did happen. This is America, and we're not going to be bullied by anybody, their agenda, and any of that. So would you like to here and acknowledge the Greek-Armenian genocide?
I acknowledge you're asking me the question. Do you want me to answer it or no?
Yes, if you want to acknowledge the Greek-Armenian genocide and the Syrian genocide and the Holocaust,
And I'm going going to say it right here, sir. I recognize historical events that happen. I'm not going to disavow or I'm not going to condemn or condone anybody here as the mayor of a not 1 square mile town. My job here is to handle municipal business. It's not to answer questions about historical events that respectively were 80 and over 100 years ago.
The Jersey Watcher YouTube channel wants to denounce New Jersey for being communist editorial, and I denounce Jen Coombs.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Is my time up?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'll yield my time then.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a question.
Okay, where's this coming from?
Hi, Colleen Christie, 79.
Hi, Miss Christie.
Avenue. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. Okay.
Some clarification. I know you talked about some improvements over at Memorial Park,
Right.
and you mentioned a new pavilion.
A gazebo.
Oh, okay. So the current pavilion that's there will remain, and then an additional.
Yeah, so Joe Pavilion. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Colleen.
No, I'm just. So the original pavilion will remain, and then an additional gazebo is going to be built.
Correct.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is anybody else in the public?
I do. Kelly Stratton, 3 Overbrook Place.
Hello, Kelly.
Hi. You can hear me? I have 2 questions. One, I wanted to know if you received the video of the trucks going through my neighborhood.
I
I
did.
emailed in the week to I'm going to say Mr. Trevini, and I see Tammy shaking her head.
Yeah, I saw the videos.
Okay, and I was wondering if we could have any additional help with that. I know that we've been talking about it, and I know we've been talking about it with TFH, and there's 2 reasons for bringing it up. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of what happens when we bring businesses like this into residential neighborhoods. 2 reasons. One, I know that it's really not good practice for police officers to be given truck tickets every time because it's not fair when it's just an accident. So perhaps we can help with signage in some way, shape, or form. I do believe, from my experience at work, that when you are getting a delivery, that there's a department, your delivery department, that will give you directions on how you should enter the facility, whether it be streets, driveways, turns, what time. I mean, I went to the meeting for FlexCraft, and they told us they would be good neighbors, and I believed them. I congratulated them, and I have to say, over the last 2 years, it's gotten worse and worse with idling trucks and trucks driving down our street. So I just want you to be aware of that, and obviously with the CFH trucks, we know what's going on with those. The other question is, and I know there's nothing you could tell me except for that we have to work on signage. And then the other thing is we've gotten a lot of calls today about the drilling that's going on in TFH. Is anybody aware? Is it concerning the remediation that's going on right now? And it's on the property lines of some of the neighbors.
Okay, I didn't even hear about this till about 5:30 this afternoon, so I'm going to defer to Mr. Trevini. As far as the drilling on TFH property, I'm going to answer some of your other questions, but I want to get to that one first.
Okay.
So let's quickly go over that. So that is a known site, been a known site for many years. They're doing bore testing. It's just like the other construction. They're within their limits to are allowed to go ahead and do that during the hours the construction happen. They're bore testing from a contamination that happened prior to TFH actually owning that property. Because when TFH bought the property, by law, they're now responsible to make sure that the contamination isn't moving or changing. So not frequently, but over a period of time, they're going to have to do these bore testing. I was there today. It is loud. It is annoying. It's more annoying now because people are home and that they're working from home and whatnot. Probably what's concerning most people. But I was even able to talk to the foreman today. I went out there myself and I talked to the foreman today, drills a very small hole into the ground. In certain areas, it's required. I did call DEP. I wanted to make sure that they weren't required to make any other notifications. There was an original notification made years ago. I know there's a sign up. That's the exact same situation they're talking about. And the chemicals are not at all related to any TFH is done. It was in their use.
Can I respectfully disagree that there's no way of us knowing that yet?
No, this is known. This is before that time.
I spoke to him doing the remediation, and he told me that he did not know for sure where it came from.
Yeah, but he knew it didn't come from TFH.
It's been a remediation.
It was a remediation prior to TFH even owning that piece.
There was an oil tank on that property. That was a problem.
Right.
That's a different chemical from what has been found in 2016.
But again, this is not a chemical TFH would be using there. He's not looked at. I spoke to the guy today. So he physically said it's not TFH. It has nothing to do with TFH. TFH is responsible for it because they own the property now. It's similar to what the borough absorbed with East Ice. We didn't put the chemicals there, but we're now responsible for cleaning it up. So it's kind of a catch-22. When you buy something like this, you want to make it work, but you're going to have to definitely keep up on it. And they're doing their due diligence by having it tested like you're supposed to. It's an expense that they're going through. So that's what that's where we're at right now. But I am waiting back to hear from the. They do want to know if there's any rules on if they have to make notifications. I don't think there is. I think it's just like any other construction. But I want to confirm that by the call today, just to have it done.
And let me touch on some of the other points too, as far as the trust going. So I actually had a fairly lengthy conversation with Glenn Axelrod the other day, and we talked about steps to try and mediate the issue of trucks staying on there. And he doesn't want it either. So he actually is sending me a draft that's going to be going out to all of the delivery companies they work with, explaining to them exactly where they're supposed to go. The fact that he recommends that the police issue summons every time they break the law, and that there will be a fine also be given by TFH and any truck drivers who violate that rule that they have here. Furthermore, here at the borough, we reached out to the county to have an electronic sign put up. I'm sure some of you saw put on the point there to alert truck drivers that there are no trucks over 4 tons allowed on residential roads. We went as far as also saying do not make any right-hand turns for the next 5 turns here. So I don't want you to think that we don't recognize this or we're not taking any steps to try and fix this. Unfortunately, God gave people free will, and truck drivers have free will. So I can't get in the truck and stop people from turning, really regardless of what kind of steps we go to mediate. We recognize it, we worked on it, and we're frustrated by it as well, but we are doing what we can. But we can't solve the issue. That's why we have our ordinance on books to give summonses to drivers who don't follow our traffic laws. That's what we put on there. As far as flight crap, that video was the first time anybody has at least brought to my attention the issue of trucks turning down that road. I honestly
We get it about once a week.
that's the first time I've ever heard of it. So I didn't know it was a problem that existed.
Right, but I'm home now. I can tape it. I've heard about it, but I can tape it now, and I'll be recording it.
That's great. And I think that's what Mr. Jamika, I think we're probably noticing things a lot more now because we're home constantly. So things that we may not have seen before, we're picking up right now. So it can be going on. And again, I don't know if it seems to be happening over and over. Maybe there's an issue with the driver's GPS that tells them there's a through street there at the end. I mean, it doesn't make you what's going on.
That's exactly what it was. He told me. I talked to the man.
Yeah. So again,
Valley was turn.
Again, I don't have any pull at Google Maps to fix that, unfortunately. So
That's not. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you. My bringing it to everybody's attention is so that it never happens again with future businesses coming into this town. We already have
That's a promise I can't make. I can't make a promise.
Be aware that we're a 1 square mile town, and that all the truck traffic is a real problem. It's a problem for the environment because the trucks are idling no matter what anybody says. The trucks are driving on roads that are not meant for those heavy trucks and doing damage to the infrastructure. And
anywhere else here. But Kelly, I'm actually in the process of trying to buy a home, and trust me, every time one goes on the market, it's gone in a few days. So it's desirable to live here regardless of all the problems that, were being mentioned at this meeting here. But again, these businesses are in compliance with the law here. If they turn down streets they're not supposed to, our police will go and summons them. Beyond that, there's not much we can do from the borough. We put up signs, we've contacted these businesses here. We've done everything we can within the letter of the law. Anything above that would be harassment. We can't deny trucks from coming through on public roads on state highways. You can't say no to them. They have the right to do business here. They're zoned to do that. It may not be, the best thing to live next door to it. It's not going to go away. We're not going to close the businesses in town. We'll do our best. Hold on. I'm not done talking. We do our best to make sure that they are in compliance with all of our traffic laws. But again, you cannot stop it altogether. We take the steps that we can to do it, and we do. People come to these meetings and they bring this up here, and trust me, I've made calls. We've taken steps. We've taken strides. We've put up signs. We do what we can. Anything short of, pretty much to the full extent of our capability, we have done. I've made phone calls. I've talked to people, but these business owners, if they're in compliance with the law, they don't have to do these things that we ask of them. If they do it, trying to be a good neighbor. We do everything we can to the extent of the law. So for me to sit here and say that this will never happen again, I'd be lying to you. It may happen again. My job is to try and curtail it as best as I can. That's all I can promise you. I cannot promise you I'll fix it.
Mayor, we have a chance there. I want to say one thing. So we understand. So we are working again on the TFH. We did get that sign out there. There's no other signs we could put on the state highways. We realized any signage we would put there would be more of a paragraph than it would be a warning sign not to make turns down the next 5 streets. It just wouldn't work. I am going to draft a letter along with the mayor to Mr. Axelrod, encouraging him to put up signage, which we can't require him to, but encouraging him to put up signage to put up a sign that says delivery. Because I realized when I was doing my research and investigations on it, there is no signage on any of its property right now that says this is where trucks deliver. So it's not actually like they're not giving the drivers any opportunity. We'll try with a letter first, and then I'll discuss with the mayor if we have to go forward. We could. We'll speak to the attorney on this. If we have to, we may have to require it by law that companies like this would need a entrance and actually put it out there. As for the FlexCraft and saying that future businesses we would have to worry about, under my experience in past with land use, you're going to find out that you cannot hold outside traffic and how traffic is going to town against the business when they're trying to build a business in town. So you can't go ahead and say, well, more traffic, or they're going to come down our roads. It's illegal. It's Dunkin' Donuts sponsoring. It's a case law that came down to Jersey State Legislature, actually to the Jersey State Court. We would never win that. They would win it in court. They cannot control high traffic. They're not required to by law, and they cannot be forced to. So our hands are tied. So we're doing the best we can with what we have. That's all.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jen Coombs.
Hi, Jen.
This is more of a question for Tammy Brown, but this is being directed towards the council. How would I get access to the emergency meeting that was held last Monday? Because I got the times wrong for that, and I looked to record it.
I think the question was, how many copies of the recording of the special meeting that we held Monday?
Correct.
Right. Tammy, you have access to that?
I do. The entire meeting was not recorded. Part of it was, but I can share it, or Chris, one of us can share it with Jen. The minutes were just approved tonight for that meeting, so they'll be available on the website as well.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Nice. Anybody else in the public yard? I saw one question that was written here about the kayak racks. Let me open up the kayak spaces so no one can go to any borough office or the community center at this time. Yeah, we're going to have to discuss it. Originally, we wanted people to actually come in and fill out applications in person, because there's also some, like some legal things that they need to read over. If you're going to, rent a kayak rack, you need to understand exactly what you are responsible for and what the borough is not responsible for. So we're going to have to discuss whether or not we want to do this online, because it's hard to get people's signature and hard to get them to make sure they understood what they read. So I don't have an answer definitively right now for it. That's something we're going to have to discuss moving forward. I would have preferred have people pick up the applications at the borough, but you're right, with the borough offices being closed, obviously that's not possible. So we may have to go to online, but we're gonna wait and see if maybe things open up. But we haven't made a decision on that yet.
And I would imagine there that the applications for that would be developed. It's not really a big deal by Mr. Scherbini. Am I misspeaking, Chris?
It's in the process, actually. I did some alterations. Of course, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, so I did borrow from other towns, and we have one of the administrative assistants actually take it tomorrow, and they're going to be able to retype it, and then we'll relook at it again, and we're going to come up with a plan. That's a big thing. We're also working on our opening plan as well. We're hoping in the near future that we can get our employees from remotely back in the office, and then eventually reopening to the public. So we're trying to get ahead of the game right now. So hopefully this will be later.
Well, and I've seen something come across, and I don't want to step on the mayor's toes, but, obviously we're probably going to have to alter the timelines based on, COVID-19 and everything we're doing. As far as access to town residents versus out-of-town residents, so.
Yeah, right. I saw that last remark there. So, yeah, I mean, we'll make sure that our residents are fully aware when the registration boards are available to make sure they don't miss the window before it's open to non-residents.
Can I rebuttal?
No, sir.
The sunshine law allows me to come up a second time when the first time speakers are finished.
Jason?
Mayor, have that speaker used his maximum time limit?
He used the 4 minutes, yes.
So. Yes, I used the 4 minutes my first time around, but not my rebuttal time. No. He should know that he's the lawyer. 4 minutes, so. 4 minutes is the first time around, that's the rebuttal time.
I mean, this isn't a trial, so it's not like you get cross-examination. It doesn't work here. You have a 4-minute window.
Without going into the weeds, you use your 4 minutes. Your time is up.
Anybody else wish to be heard?
Mayor, I just had one comment for the businesses in town. The Paycheck Protection Program, usually referred to as PPP, is actually being expanded. And if anybody needs to take advantage of that program, they can go on to the NJ SBA website. If they need it for payroll or for pension benefit payments for employees right now with COVID-19. The program has a lot of money in it, and if 75% of those funds they receive in this loan go towards the payments of payroll and for benefits, then the entire loan is forgiven. So if there are any businesses in the borough or in the surrounding area that need to take advantage of it, they can. And if they can document that 75%, then the loan will be forgiven.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody else in the public wish to be heard? All right, seeing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
So offered.
Offered by Ms. Pappas. Second. Second by Mr. Costas. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion is adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Our next meeting will be May 26th or 25th? 26th, Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Correct. 26th. So I will see you all on the 26th. Everybody be safe and be smart.
You too, man. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.